Hey, everybody, welcome to the True Crime Squad. I'm Kristi Brower, here with my sister, co-host, and partner in crime, Katie Weaver. Hey, Katie.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going good. It's man, we got a ton of snow last night.
Yeah.
Like a ton, like heavy, wet. Holy moly. Yeah.
It's kind of crazy winter here.
It is. And then it warmed up again quite a bit today and melted some off. We're just having, very weird weather. We've actually had quite a bit of snow this year, but you wouldn't know it because it just keeps melting down.
Or
And then
raining
we
and
get some
melting.
more raining. Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, I'm just really holding the energy high for California right now, especially Northern California.
Oh my
Well,
God.
but
Yeah.
Southern in the San Francisco area as well. Holy crap, you
Yeah.
guys. It's terrible. I'm so
hmm
worried about everybody's houses and everybody's safety, and
hmm
it's
And the
nuts.
homeless people and the animals
Yes,
and yeah.
absolutely. I have a friend who lives in Oakland, and she was telling me, she sent me a video a week or so ago of people surfing in the streets in San Francisco. Like, that's
Wow.
crazy. But then I know Northern California is set to I talked to somebody today in Northern California that said they're still have 2 more storms coming, and where they live, they have not had power since Monday, and they're not
Oh.
expected to have power until for 5 more days.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Oh.
scary.
Mhm.
So our snow is nothing in comparison.
Right. We're having I mean, we're fine. We're
Yeah,
fine.
it
It's
does.
probably fine.
Yeah. Right, Renee. It doesn't rain in California, it pours. Right. It either
Yeah.
doesn't rain for years
Right.
or it pours. And that's, oh man, nobody knows how to live with that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, welcome to everybody who's joined us in the chat. This is our update show. We do this every
Yeah.
Wednesday at 7 p.m. Welcome, Sarah, GB, Cranky, Jacqueline, Gigi, Sherry, Amy, Janet, Spirit, Lana, Renee, and another Janet. Sorry.
And double welcome to
And
Janet.
double welcome to Janet. Yes, so welcome all of you who are here live with us, whether you're in the chat or not, and welcome to you if you're listening to this after the fact. We appreciate you being here very much. Hey, Paula,
Absolutely.
and as you know, we do this every Wednesday to talk about cases we're covering, or just kind of cases that are in the news, even if it isn't one we've covered. Give you an idea of
Yeah.
what's going on. Hey, Tracy. Hey, RJ. And kind of give you the word on what's happening. And there's a lot happening
Yeah. The
now.
courts are really
There's
up and running, boy.
Yeah, the holidays are
Mhm.
over and everybody's back. That's for sure.
I did want
Um,
to say quickly before we jump into cases
mhm.
that Sarah was asking for an update on the moose.
Oh yes,
There isn't one. I wish there was. I have watched, and where we are getting fresh snow every night, I've been checking the part of my yard that he keeps going into, and I haven't seen anything in a couple of days. So
dang
I
it.
think Lenny may have moved on hopefully, he moved on to a safer place, you know,
The river, like
or if Fish and Game apprehended him. There was no evidence that they did. They trolled the road for some time and then went on. I live at the end of a dead end. I should say that. There's nowhere to go from here. So he had to have, gone out to the other end of the neighborhood. And I don't know. I don't know. I just hope he's okay. I've
yeah,
hated this. Loved seeing him
yes,
and getting to interact, with his just little spirit in my yard. But yeah,
yeah. Hopefully he is okay.
yeah,
If you haven't had a chance yet, be sure that you watch our Wednesday episode this week because it is an update on the Daybell Vallow
yes.
debacle. Lots of stuff happening, lots of
That was
filings, lots of
nice. That was a nice way to say
I
it.
know, I almost said something ruder, I probably should have. Hey, Cindy, welcome. Um, Lots happening in that case, and of course, next week they have courts, on Thursday. We will be
hmm
going and
hmm
hopefully live Facebooking or something.
Yeah, we're not sure what you're allowed. And I know we've said in the past that we would try and go, and then we're like, we don't want to go. This
We're
is
going.
we have to go. This is
This is
going to be
really
a big,
important.
one. Yep. It is. It's a belligerent turd circus.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is. A voluminous
Yes.
circus, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The joke at the beginning was pretty funny. Janet says, yes, you did a great job with that intro video. That was pretty awesome. Yeah, there's a lot happening there. We may see some pretty major movement with this case,
Yeah.
or we might not see anything. You know how this goes.
Well, if this is happening in April, which it is not, but if this was happening in April, like
Yeah.
these trips to court have to start amounting to something.
Right?
Can't just be brief arguments where they then decide to put some things off till the end. We're at
Yeah.
the end. It is now. Now
Yeah,
is
it is now. The time is now. It is time to figure this shit out. So
Mhm.
something's going to happen, I really think. Katie, why don't you kick us off with a little bit of one of our favorite belligerent turd circuses, Nick Alahverdian.
Yeah, I'd love to. So there's not a lot to report, as far as the extradition is it's just rolling along. It just takes a really damn long time. But his lawyer is furious, indignant, angry, horrified. Nick is being bullied, guys. Now, if you don't know who Nick is, this is the con man from Rhode Island who faked his own death to avoid being arrested for a bunch of fraud charges and also for several sexual assault charges,
Yeah,
mostly
bunch in
coming out of
Utah.
Utah in Salt Lake. That is the prosecutor that is like really going after him. So he faked his own death and moved to Europe, where he picked up with a new lady and has been living in Scotland pretending to be Scottish, though actually, I think pretending to be Irish, though he is not. But he ended up
Goes to
in,
Scotland, pretends to be Irish. Sure,
yeah,
okay, whatever.
he ended up in the hospital last December, so a little more than a year from now ago. Uh, and while he was there, he fell into a coma. He had COVID. He fell into a coma, and somehow the hospital staff noticed that his tattoos lined up with someone who was wanted by Interpol. I don't know why you would be looking for that. I don't know how that all came together. There were just some weird, shifty things about him, I'm guessing. But basically, his tattoos and then his fingerprints, everything lined up. This is this a fugitive that's on the run. So
Yeah.
he was arrested. They're still trying to get him extradited. It's happening. It's just moving slow. And now he
Mhm.
has some sexual assault charges in London that he's
London,
going
yeah.
to have to also face. So it's going to be a while before we see him here. But
He's
so
such a
that's
great.
the Cliff's Notes on who Nicholas Alahverdian is. There's a lot more,
Mhm.
but that's all you need tonight. Um, this is what's hilarious. His lawyer is, yes, doing a John Pryor pearl clutch right now over the treatment he is receiving in jail, and he should be released on bail immediately because these are inhumane conditions. What are the conditions? Well, the inmates have picked up on a little American jingle by none other than John Denver.
Yeah.
And so they're taunting him by singing that he's leaving on a
On-
jet plane. They don't know when he'll be back again.
Never.
Oh, Nick, you have to go. So, yeah, so there's been another attempt to bail out because this is just unfair. Guys, they're being mean to him.
They're
Yep,
singing a song right at him.
yep. And that was justification for his attorney to go to court and demand him being released because this is just not okay.
Okay, Ghislaine Maxwell Jr. I mean, come on.
Right? Take several seats there, Nick.
Yeah,
You're not going
several.
anywhere.
No. No, and Utah wants him, man. They want him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Utah is gunning for him. Yep.
You know, people in the UK are much more polite than Americans. And I know this because I watch a lot of UK TV and I don't know. Anyway, all I have to say is that if that is considered bullying in jail in Scotland, I mean, whew, can
Yeah.
you imagine being in the Fremont County Jail like Chad is,
Mhm.
eating nothing but Hot Pockets?
Yeah. And interestingly, that's one thing we have not heard shit about from Chad or Lori's attorneys. Jail
Mm,
mistreatment.
right?
Now, of course, Mark Means had his proverbial hair on fire. Proverbial
Mhm.
hair on fire. That was
Oh, yeah, 'cause
terrible.
it does not have
We
any.
do not attack people based on their appearance because that is low hanging fruit.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But anyway, so Mark Means and his hair. So he had his hair on fire because uh, the jail recorded some of his conversations with his client, but
Oh,
that
yeah.
turned out not to be because the jail sucked. That turned out to be because Mark sucked and he didn't
He
know how
said
to use the system.
didn't even know how to be an attorney, it turns out. Yeah, that's so
Yep.
true. Amy
Yep.
says, "What is up with all these criminals thinking they should just be let go because life in jail sucks?" Right? Like, maybe that's the point, dumbass.
I don't want to be here anymore. Oh
Yeah,
well, okay. Kind of like Lori.
you're hurting
I
my
don't want to
feelings.
have the death penalty.
Yeah,
My crime
I
wasn't
don't,
that bad, so let's just all agree here. I don't need
you
that.
guys. The stuff Lori's attorneys say about why she's not death penalty eligible absolutely chills me to the bone.
Hmm. True,
Uh,
Paula.
yeah,
Paula said, I'm actually a little surprised Utah's going after him, Alahverdian. They usually ignore sexual assault as much as possible. Good for them. Truly. Also, he is a former Mormon. He was a practicing Mormon when these things happened.
because everything comes back to Mormons, guys. I don't even know
Hmm.
if you have been watching us the last year or so.
Hmm.
We have had so many cases come back around to that, and we are ex
Hmm.
Mormons, and so it's just as weird and creepy every time.
Hmm. Yep.
However, speaking of sexual assault and Utah, let's
Yaha.
talk about no
Someone who
longer
is zoomed to the top of the
friend of
FOS
the
list.
show,
Yes.
Jared Leisik.
Remember when he was a friend of the show?
Yeah,
Sad.
he was a friend of the show. Adventures with Purpose has done some really, really good things. They came here
Yeah.
to Idaho Falls. They found a young man who'd been missing for like 5 years in the river in his car, right?
Yeah.
But so he has finally been arrested. So if you remember, a while back, there were allegations made by one of his younger cousins that he sexually assaulted her when they were kids. He was a teenager, 16, 17. She was around 10 at the time. And we saw a bunch of email exchanges that she published on the web that they had where he admits it and admonishes her and does a lot of really gross stuff. Well, they've been in court over this, but he has finally actually been arrested. So it's
Hmm.
count one, rape of a child, a first degree felony, and charges that on or between January 1st, 1992 and December 31st, 1992, at and with Sanpete County, state of Utah, the defendant did have sexual intercourse with a child who was under the age of 14. So the statement of probable cause. The defendant and the victim are cousins. In 1992, the victim was 10 years old. The defendant is about 6 or 7 years older than the victim, depending on the date. During the summer and fall of 1992, the victim lived in Ephraim, which is located in Sanpete County. During this time, the defendant, who would have been 16 or 17 as his birthday occurred during this time frame, and the victim were in the victim's bedroom when the defendant pinned her down and sexually assaulted her. And so this was signed on the 10th of January, and he has been arrested.
Yeah.
So we shall see what happens here because, there'd been honestly kind of some outcry that we were all pretty annoyed by the fact that, you know, they'd been in court, but really nothing was happening here.
Hmm.
And I mean, they have the emails where he does admit it. He does take responsibility for it, try to say he's sorry and he's moved on and she should just move on too, and a bunch of disgusting stuff.
Hmm.
So, yeah. So now he has, in fact, been arrested. So maybe we're going to see some justice for her here. I don't know. The question always is if he did this to her, is there anyone else out there? Are there other victims?
Well, his sister has had some pretty choice things to say about him since
Yes.
all of this came down.
Yeah, that turns out he's a real jackass.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're going to keep
Oh,
a close eye on that and let you know. But for now, we know that he is actually in jail. So
yeah.
that's some progress, movement forward.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, Katie, would you like to share a little more about top of the FOS list and never friend of the show, Andrew Tate?
My God, Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
Andrew Tate. Now, you guys probably already know who we're talking about. This is Andrew Tate, who got arrested over Christmas because, well, not, I guess it was the first of the year, due to,
Mhm.
the pizza box
Yeah.
incident. Yeah, that one.
On Twitter.
Yep. There is a new victim coming forward. So, if everything else that he's been accused of now is all fake news, well, here's another one.
Hmm.
Because his latest accuser says that he raped her in 2013, and she has audio from conversations with him about what he did to her,
Hmm.
as well as WhatsApp messages where he told her, "I loved raping you,"
Oh, he's such a gross pig.
among
Ugh.
with other really violent, disturbing things and
Hmm.
threats. Uh, so freaking disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, please, someone just throw him in jail and throw away the key. Like, can we
Mhm.
just, whether it's Romania or the UK, I don't care. Just somebody.
Mhm. She says that he subdued her, choked her. She says she thought she was going to die.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Mm,
She has a lot to say about it, actually,
she does.
and it is so disgusting. But basically, it's a lot of gaslighting on his part that he didn't really rape you because you enjoyed it and you wanted it. And, the things that Andrew Tate has said. I mean, he has
Hmm.
said it. He has talked clearly about how to hurt women in ways that you won't get in trouble.
Hmm.
He's been a, you know, quite the educational, figure in these things. I mean, it's so gross. He is so gross. But at any rate, I kind of think I wonder. Now, there's no charges yet for this one. This is just a new victim emerging.
Hmm.
I suspect that this will be one of many. That we'll see many
Well,
women
there's
start.
there's three in the UK,
Yeah.
and there was a chance for them to go after him several years ago, and the
Mhm.
prosecution decided to not charge him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jackasses.
So we'll see where any of the rest of these go because
Hmm.
I'm hoping that women are starting to feel safer about speaking out now. I mean,
Kind of
this
seems
poor
like it.
girl, her conversation about him is absolutely terrifying.
Oh, it is.
The things that he said to her, the things that he did to her, the mind
Hmm.
games he played with her for many months. It's
Yeah.
terrifying. There's got to be so many victims out there, but good on
Oh,
her for coming
right.
forward. Everyone that comes forward helps to pave the way for the next one to come forward so that we can get this dude gone where he
Absolutely.
needs to be.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and I mean, Romania is still hanging on to him. They've got him for trafficking. So we'll see what
Yep.
they do. I don't really know what Romania will do. I'm hoping now
Right.
the UK might take this a little more seriously,
Mhm.
where they haven't in the past.
Mhm. Hopefully, Romania is breaking the ice.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think
Yeah.
that's true. And yeah, you're right. The more that come forward, the more stories, the better.
Yeah.
Because it's time to bury this guy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of disgusting, let's talk about the ex Uvalde school police chief.
Mm.
Because, we haven't heard enough from these idiots, have we? So this is Pete Arredondo. He was fired in August.
Mhm.
And so this has just come out, a statement that he made to the Texas Department of Safety not long
Mhm.
after the Uvalde school shooting. This was the Robb Elementary school shooting. 19 students and 2 teachers were killed.
Yeah.
This is the school shooting where the cops stood in the hallway and waited for 77 minutes before they went in.
Yeah.
And the shooter was supposedly barricaded inside these 2 adjoining classrooms. Turns out one of the doors to one of those classrooms wasn't even locked,
Yep.
not barricaded at all.
At all. Nope.
So Arredondo said to the Texas Department of Safety, once I realized what was going on, my first thought is that we need to vacate. We have him contained, which no, they didn't. The door
Contained.
was not locked.
Yeah.
And I know
contained
this is,
with
yeah,
a whole bunch of victims. What?
yeah, contained with a room of children and teachers. And he said, and I know this is horrible, and I know it's what our training tells us to do, which actually it isn't. I'll get there. To do, but we have him contained, and there's probably going to be some deceased in there. Some, oh my God. But we don't need any more from out here. This is an elementary school, you guys.
Mhm.
So he thought the best plan was just to let the guy stay in there and kill all the kids.
Yeah.
So his decision actually did not follow the active shooter protocols that they were trained with, which says that direct first responders are to isolate, distract, and neutralize an attacker. The guidelines tell officers that they will usually be required to place themselves in harm's way and display uncommon acts of courage to save the innocent.
What?
Not
stand outside the door and listen to children die?
Yeah, not any of those
have
things.
children and teachers calling 911 begging for help while they were dying,
Yeah.
while these cowards stood on the other side of the door and just let it happen?
I mean, this fool says stuff like, well, I didn't know that was happening. I don't think you needed to. You were literally standing outside the door of this classroom.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't feel I was in charge that day. I don't think it matters who was in charge that day as long
Right.
as somebody went in there and tried to defend those kids and that teacher. That is your
Yep.
goddamn job if you're a
Yep.
police officer. And if you
Nobody
don't like
had
it,
the
don't
right.
be a cop.
Don't
like,
be a cop.
And a school cop? Like,
Yeah.
that's your whole job is to protect the kids. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh, this just is just gross and makes me even madder. And it's not really
Mhm.
new information, except it's kind of new to the public. But these are the things that he has said to
Mhm.
try to justify the choices that he made.
Yep.
And it is completely against protocol. I mean, their protocol
Which,
says,
of course it is.
yeah,
Of course it is.
this will usually be required to place themselves in harm's way and display uncommon acts of courage to save the innocent. Well, what we saw was cowardice.
Mhm.
It was cowardice.
Yeah.
No, this shooter did not kill himself. The police did finally kill him.
Yeah. By somebody who finally had the guts to open the door.
Yes, a border patrol officer.
Showed
Because
up and was like,
seriously,
yeah, we're not doing this
they
anymore.
stood in the hallway. Those kids were in that room and the teachers in that room with that shooter for 77 minutes, you guys. It's an hour and 17 minutes that they just stood there with their weapons.
It took DNA tests
to
identify some of the children because they were so badly injured while they stood there.
Yeah.
I will never in my lifetime understand this.
I won't either. I will never in my lifetime understand why anybody didn't open that door and try to do the best that they could.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Border Patrol agent was a parent. Yes, the Border Patrol agent was a parent and finally went, this is bullshit. What the hell is the matter with you guys? And opened that door and killed the shooter.
Yep.
So why couldn't they have done that 77 minutes ago?
It's hard to know how many lives could have been saved. You know,
they chickened out. That's what happened.
yeah,
they chickened
totally chickened out. Yep.
And I get it. You don't want to put your life on the line. Then don't be a cop.
Right.
Then don't be a cop. That's easy. If you don't want to put your life on the line in a school shooting, don't be a cop.
Yeah, and that's okay. Not everybody. Law enforcement isn't for everyone.
No.
But it's obviously not for any of these people.
Right. You take on that responsibility, then it is now your responsibility. Yeah. Wow. That just, ugh.
We'll never not be furious. Yeah.
Right? That just makes my blood run cold, man. Katie, there are some updates in the Moscow murders. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, there's a few. So we did do a live stream last Thursday when the arrest affidavit came out. So we pretty much reported on all of it so far because now there's a gag order. Finally, the judge was like, oh, for fuck's sake, people, stop talking. So he put out a gag order, which she put out a gag order. I'm sorry. It's a she, isn't it, in that case?
It is.
That, has had enough, rightfully so. We've been saying it from the beginning. Stop talking. But there are some interesting things, kind of. The search warrant for his house, for his apartment, has been sealed since till the beginning of March by order of the judge because there are things in that search warrant that she said could seriously damage the case.
Oh.
So that's interesting, mildly. There
Mm-hmm.
is court in the morning
Mm-hmm.
for the it's basically a status hearing. It'll be brief. There will likely not be much, except for that we are waiting to see if they will uh waive pretrial or not.
Right.
And so there could be some interesting stuff that happens there, but not a lot going on, right?
Yeah.
uh they did, they had initially said that they could finally start remediating the property. And then as soon as they arrested him, they said, nope, never mind, can't do that, sealed it back off. His attorneys and their public defenders for, for the, is it Lehigh or Latah County?
Later.
Latah, that they have already had a team of 5 crime scene recreationists over at the house doing their own investigation with the house, which, of course they are, they have a
Mm-hmm.
job to do as well. So that is happening.
Mm-hmm.
I found one more post from Papa Roger that I thought was interesting.
Mm.
So Papa Roger is the person that was posting on the internet. There's actually a few accounts, and law enforcement is even now recognizing that, yes, he had some accounts online that he was discussing the case.
Yeah.
So Papa Roger was a person that was posting in this group. This was a private group called University of Idaho Murders Case Discussion. Very common to see groups like this on Facebook whenever there's big cases go down. This was one that he said that I still think that there's some info here we don't have.
Yeah.
One knife, 4 people. The killer took a big risk. The knife could have easily broken off or become ineffective after 1 or 2 murders. Are we sure there's only one knife involved? See, he kept dropping Easter eggs like that, dropping little
Mm-hmm.
clues, little things, opinions, comments that we're starting to understand were real things. And I am fully convinced that Papa Roger absolutely is Brian. That
Me
account
too.
disappeared the day after he was arrested
Right. Along
because
with all of his other
along
socials.
with all of his other socials, because that's what law enforcement does, right? They get all of
Mm-hmm.
that stuff offline because they don't want anything that's there to jeopardize their case. That he
Right.
said a lot of pretty weird and interesting things. But I thought that was interesting because some of the families of the victims have told the press that the injuries in the victims aren't uh, identical. Like,
Yeah.
some of them have very deep gashes and wounds, and some of them are more superficial, which has kind of indicated that maybe they thought there was more than one knife involved. I
Mm-hmm.
suspect that this was Brian trying to lead the group to the conclusion that there was more than one murder weapon. We don't know that. That has not been discussed by law enforcement. In fact, what we do know is that they have not found the murder weapon. At least they indicated that they hadn't, and maybe they have in one of the houses, the searches they did, but
Right. And now
so
they
we don't
have.
know. But I felt like that was kind of an interesting point from him that we'll find out more about. Yeah,
Yeah, that is. I think anything that he said on any of
yeah,
those forums should be looked at.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Yes, Paula, the sheath at the scene was for a K-bar military knife.
yeah.
If that was the weapon, it would be hard to break. Right, it would.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. True.
So,
However, it's also true that if you went in planning on killing multiple people, would you really trust one weapon,
right,
or
I
would
would
you
think
have another
there
one
would
with
be a
you?
backup, but
Mm-hmm. So,
I don't know.
anyway, interesting. We don't know, but I thought that was an interesting point. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll see what court brings tomorrow. Oh, also, the attorneys for let's see, how do you say it?
Gonsalves.
Gonsalves family. Their attorney is saying that the victims did not know him, that he was unknown to them, which is an interesting point because if his DNA is found in the house, there would be no reason for it to be there if these girls didn't know him. He'd never been there for a party. They'd never hung out with him. And
Right.
that's what their families are saying, is that he was totally unknown to them and to the other roommates. So
Yeah. Yeah.
interesting stuff. That's pretty much, I think, what we know at this point as far as
Yeah.
updates in that one.
Okay. Okay. Updates in the we've kind of been following this case. We haven't actually covered it, but we have been talking about it. On a Walshe
Oh,
missing
yeah.
missing mom went missing on New Year's Day in Massachusetts, Cohasset,
Mhm.
Massachusetts. Well, we know dad was arrested a few days ago for misleading police. And we had heard that there was a knife and blood found in their basement. Well, now they found another location um, where they have found it's a trash site in Peabody, Massachusetts. They have some unnamed sources somewhere. Somebody led them to this place. But they've found a hatchet, a hacksaw, rug, a garbage bag, and blood. And yeah, so
Yeah.
things are not looking good in that case at all
Yeah.
for mom's safety.
Yeah.
So we're watching that. We'll cover it eventually, probably, but we'll at least be talking about it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, another shitty Brian. You're right, Janet. Yep.
Right? Like, what the hell is with this? But yeah,
Right.
this is awful. This case just turns my stomach. But what they've
Mhm.
found most certainly does. The other thing that they have found is that he went to Home Depot and bought $450 worth of cleaning products, including mops and tarps,
Mhm.
after her disappearance. And
That's not
so,
suspicious. Not at
right?
all.
Not suspicious at all.
No.
They've now also found tissue in the basement, human tissue. So,
No, Lord.
yeah, yeah. Brian, not a smart criminal, but
Yep.
definitely a gross criminal.
This too. Oh, that's M's crappy ex's name as well.
Well, you
Yep.
need to be just
He
done
also,
then.
yes, in his search history, he had searched how to get rid of a 115-pound body,
That's right.
human
That's
body.
pretty
Yep.
specific, isn't it now, Brian?
Yep.
Katie, why don't you talk to us about Brownfield?
Yeah, there's another case that's unfolding right now that really could be a whole episode, except for that it's Wednesday now, and by the time I can report on this on Monday, I think it will have moved pretty fast. So we're just going to go ahead and get this one started here. We're talking about Athena Brownfield.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you a couple of pictures of her. This is Athena. She is 4 years old.
Mm.
She is missing from Cyril, Oklahoma. She has been missing from, they think, January 6th, though they don't really know.
Another one of those we don't know. Oh, God.
Hmm. She was last seen by a home near Dollar General. So the the situation in this case is a little bit muddy, but I found a comment, a description from a family member that resonates to me as probably being the most accurate information that we've found thus far. There have been a lot of rumors about what's happening or what has happened, so I'm going to do my best, but please know that this is what we know so far and take it all with a grain of salt.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh, this is about 30 minutes from, okay,
From
Amy, yeah.
Amy.
So,
Yeah.
Cyril, Oklahoma is a tiny little town. According to the US Census in 2021, it was a population 874.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Yeah,
Really little.
it's barely a town. Yeah, it's just a tiny little place. So, apparently, Athena and her sister, older sister, have been living with a family member. Athena and her sister Adina were in the care of a family member, not bio parents. There wasn't any custody order in place. They have just been being cared for by a family member. Apparently, in the home, there were 6 kids. There were 4 that belonged to the family members, the couple, as well as these 2 little girls. Well, apparently, this couple has separated. And a week ago, the wife took off and she was apparently staying with a new boyfriend in a different city. Well, at some point, the husband packed up the kids and went to Arizona. His kids. his bio kids.
Mm.
He showed up in Arizona with family and told them that the other two little girls had been dropped off with the other grandparent. So the paternal grandparent. She has been in the news quite a bit. Everyone is, still trying to put together like what the hell happened here, right?
Mhm.
So he said that they were dropped off with that grandparent. She says, "Oh no, they were not. I had no idea."
Oh, Jesus.
Well, there was a mail lady yesterday who saw Adina walking down the road crying and saying she was hungry and couldn't find her sister. So the mail lady stepped into the house and found that there were no adults, that there was just this little girl. She's 5 or 6,
Mm.
home by herself and obviously, in distress. So she called the authorities. So the authorities contacted the owner of the house, which is actually a different family member, and he told them he was actually living in the house. So they got in contact with the wife, and she says that she left all of the kids with her husband and that she wouldn't have left them by themselves. So the authorities located the husband, who is in Arizona with the other 4 kids, and he again gave them the same story that he dropped them off with the other grandparent, which is simply not true.
Right.
So we don't really know exactly what day Athena was last seen. We
Mm.
do know that it looks as though he flew the coop and left these 2 little children home alone in this house.
What an asshole. Oh.
We have no idea where Athena is at this point. There are people saying that she is autistic and nonverbal. Family members are saying that's not true, but she is very, very shy and doesn't
Mhm.
have a lot of, doesn't talk a lot. But that's about all, because she's not necessarily nonverbal. But
Mm.
at any rate, something very bad
Tiny.
something has gone very wrong for these children. Sounds to me like lots of somethings have gone very wrong
Yeah.
for these children. But so there has been a big search. They've been, the whole town has been searching. Basically, the police were like, listen, search your property, but don't go beyond that. Let's not get too messy here. Then they kind of expanded the search and let other people come and help start searching for her. Then, just a little while ago, they said that they have suspended the search for now and are going to start some more specified searches with dogs. There's no indication at this point that they have found Athena or that they have
Mm.
any idea what happened to her. So
Mm.
this is a case we definitely want to track and keep an eye on. So I wanted to get it opened up and just make you guys aware of it because, I know that some of you live in Oklahoma and in the
Yeah.
area, and make sure, because you know how it goes. There was no Amber Alert on this case because, again, it didn't meet the criteria. There was an alert that went out that reaches a 15-mile radius. 15. So that one did go out,
Mhm.
but that's about the extent of it right now.
Yeah.
We do know that her sister is safe and is okay, but has also been through a hell of an ordeal.
I'm glad that she's okay. But gosh,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
transpired and how long were those kids really left alone?
Right. And
And
what
a
the
4 and 5-year-old, what the hell? Oh my God.
there's got to be some serious accountability on all sides in all ways about what was
Yes.
going on with these little children. But one
Yeah.
more time, just take a good look at her picture, at her face,
Yeah.
because she could be anywhere at this point.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So that's what we know. We will definitely keep you abreast in this case.
Yeah, we will. Oh gosh, that just makes me feel sick, man.
Hmm.
Maybe there needs to be an Athena alert system created, right? We've talked a lot about the fucked up stuff with the Amber Alert system, and that like
Hmm.
missing children have to meet a certain criteria to even get an Amber Alert. Which, if a child is missing, is that not enough criteria? I mean, come on.
Yep.
If they don't have a car description and a license plate number and a full physical description of the kid and who they're with, they don't
Hmm.
send it out. And it's like, well, they do have a description of this child. They do know where she was before she went missing. I mean, that's pretty useful information for people in the area. Why would you not at least start with that?
Hmm.
God.
Yep.
Ugh. Oh, makes me sick.
Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna end the show today with a very weird true crime story, because I mean, why not, right? Y'all may have seen this in the news,
It's a good one.
but if you haven't, buckle up. So this is the story about Susan Meachen. Susan Meachen is a romance writer. And
Another cuckoo cuckoo romance writer.
right. I know, when I first read this, I'm like, wait a minute, what's her name? Okay, it's not the same one. In September of 2020, her Facebook account posted a message saying that she had died. And her fans and friends, everybody was just devastated. There was another post later that said that she had taken her own life, and said that this was because of online bullying, and that this was because of online bullying in her online writing group, which apparently was kind of a tight, friend group. So for 2 years, people in that group have tried to keep her memory alive, and, kind of just tried to keep things going for her and keep people thinking about her books and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so then this month, a post came up on in this Facebook group, saying that she's alive and that she just really wanted to come back to writing. And she ended that post with, "Let the fun begin."
What?
Right? So of course people were shocked, like, what in the hell is going on here, And so this is kind of an independent publishing community of people who are working together. There's a lot of that happening, people working together to promote each other's books, and a lot of, self-published stuff happening, because traditional publishing is really failing the writing community anymore.
Yeah. Janet says, I've seen this movie.
Right? Right. So, let's see. So we don't know exactly who's behind the social media accounts in her name. But what they think is that she, faked her death online, and then made an account in a different name and said she was her daughter, and has continued to post and kind of watch, like, how much are people mourning her.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, it's real messed up. Like, she wanted to see if people were going to be really sad after she died. Apparently, whoever was running her Facebook account would post links to suicide awareness stuff. Like, this is really fucked up stuff.
That is so offensive. Holy shit.
Right. Yeah.
Oh.
And there's another woman, Samantha Cole, who is also a romance writer. She says that she was targeted after her supposed death as one of her bullies. And she said that they'd been friends for years and that they didn't have any bad blood. She didn't know why people thought that. And, then all this comes out, and she's like, what the hell?
Oh my God.
So her post online said, I debated on how to do this a million times and still not sure if it's right or not. There's going to be a ton of questions and a lot of people leaving the group, I guess. That's her concern. They're going to leave the group.
Like, I see what you mean.
Hell?
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
That's your biggest concern right now?
Yeah, because she doesn't want to see her number slip.
Yeah. So Samantha Cole messages her and says, what is going on? And she hears back from Meachen's account, nothing. I simply want my life back. My family was in a bad place and did what they thought was best for me. What they're saying is that she did actually attempt to take her life at the time that they faked her death online, but that she didn't, and that she's just been watching all along.
Oh my God.
And that she's apparently been active on TikTok the whole time she was allegedly dead, using her real name. Like,
What? She must just not be that
what?
popular.
I know. And one of the things that she had she said to somebody is that she was kind of upset because her books haven't sold like at all since she died. And she was kind of looking for that. Like maybe this was going to really skyrocket her career as a romance novelist.
Wow.
I don't know. I'm not sure if she's broken any laws here or not because she did just do that in this group. Like,
Hmm.
I don't
Well,
know.
maybe that's all we know
Maybe
of.
we don't know yet. But what we do know is this chick is screwed up.
Yeah, faking suicide. I can't think of a worse
No, I mean,
gross
what a
thing to do.
disrespectful, ignorant thing to do to
Oh,
people who have lost people to suicide. It's terrible.
actually lost people to suicide. Yeah, what a
Hmm.
terrible, terrible thing to do.
Well, and some apparently she's been working with her psychiatrist and therapist to get to a better place.
Do
Um,
do they know that she faked her death?
right? Do they? I don't know because she sort of implies that this was a decision made by her family. Why would you? What?
Right.
There are
Why would
definitely
you
some
make that
people.
decision?
Right. There are some people trying to defend her that she was in a bad place and, hurt people, and bullshit, bullshit,
No.
bullshit. She can be in a bad place and need help and not have to hurt other people like she's done.
Yeah.
She
Ugh.
doesn't, apparently people who know her are like, she doesn't seem sorry. She doesn't seem to acknowledge like that she has really hurt a lot of people.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, it's really messed up. It's
Extremely.
really messed
Wow.
up.
How gross.
Yeah. So, it's just disgusting. Right. Was it a publicity stunt? In a way, it kind of was because she seemed to, expect that she was kind of surprised that her books haven't sold at all since she's been dead,
Hmm.
supposedly. Like she thought that was going to skyrocket her career or something. I don't know, man. That what? Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
cool.
GB says, well, if she does have actual mental health issues, she needs help, which she's got to have
Hmm.
done what she's done
Yeah.
here. But pretending to be dead is beyond horrible. It is, my God,
Yeah. That's
to this group of people who know and love her and have supported her and supported her career and tried to
hmm
keep her name alive after her death to find out she lied about it the whole time.
yeah.
What? Yeah, really messed up.
Ooh, really bad. Yes.
Yeah. So we'll keep an eye on it and see what comes of this. Like I said, I don't know if this is an actual crime, if she's done anything, if she's done anything that could be considered fraud, maybe. But it's real fucked up, whatever it is. I can't imagine that her career as a writer is going to go anywhere at this point.
Yeah. Well, no,
So,
for sure
note to
no.
self, don't
Yuck.
fake your own death and then try to come back like everything's fine. Well, I just wanted my life back, she says.
Don't do that. Don't fake your own death and get COVID and end up in a coma in the hospital.
Yes,
That
we
that
have
also will
two fake
backfire
your own
on
death
you.
stories here. Yeah.
Yeah. Just don't do
Uh,
that.
yeah, 0 out of 10. Do not recommend. Mm-mm.
Pay the piper.
Yeah.
Yeah. One
So,
quick note.
oh,
I've been keeping an eye on the West, Warren North and
yes.
West case, and
Mhm.
so their murderers, or were supposed to, alleged murderers, are supposed to go to court, to go to trial in October, and that was pushed off until the end of January. So at this point, unless that changes again, it looks like they should be going to trial at the very end of this month. And
Wow.
that is a case that we have watched really closely. The bodies of those little boys have never been found,
Right.
but their adoptive parents were finally charged in their disappearance. And yeah, and then some additional charges came on top of that of child abuse and neglect, and now here we are. So really keeping a close eye on that one. That's one of those missing children and murdered children's cases that has just never gotten much steam in the press and has never gotten any resolution, but there are charges. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out, that that's coming up the end of this month, hopefully.
Well, good. We will be keeping a close eye on that. And hopefully this hearing won't get closed or moved or whatever for De
Yeah.
Bello for next Thursday, because we do plan
Yeah.
to be at that as well. So we're going to keep a close eye on all of this, as we always do.
Yeah.
And keep you all posted.
For sure.
So we will be back next week with 3 brand new episodes, as well as case updates on Wednesday at 7. It is the 3rd Wednesday of the month, right? It is.
Yeah.
So it will also be the True Crime Cold Read Party for those of you who subscribe to that on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to keep an eye out on our Patreon. If you're not a patron, you can join over on patreon.com. We're True Crime Squad over there. We have done 2 episodes a month for, I don't know, 3 years or something now.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of extra content over there that you may not have ever seen. For a small fee, it helps to support us, helps keep us doing what we're doing. And it also gets you access to extra content. So check that out. And as always, we just encourage you to like, subscribe, share, and comment. We really appreciate all of you. We have grown so much in our first 3 seasons. We've just begun season 4, and it's because of all of you. We just want to say thank you for that.
Always. Yep.
Yeah. And you know what? We are the True Crime Squad. Thanks for being here.
Take care.